Batman versus Iron Man, who would win? Listen,
Iron
there's
Man.
always an answer for that. If Batman has prep time, Batman wins every time if he has prep
Yeah,
time
no, I agree, 100%.
because he'll always have a plan. He'll have
Yep.
multiple plans. But in a straight up, we drop them in the moment. Iron Man's going to win because Batman can't fly.
Well, Iron Man counts on his technology and that stuff. That's exactly it. It's if Batman has time to plan. If Batman has time to plan, it's all over for Iron Man.
Because let's be honest, I mean, Bruce isn't. He doesn't have the super intellectual genius that Tony does, but he has the same exact money that Tony does. So it would be a gadget off. I mean, if Tony's stuck in one suit, then and if Bruce knows what the suit's capabilities are, he will have something on his belt to counter everything that Tony can do. Thing is, Tony can also think outside the box, and he might get it, but it might get an edge over on. But I think Batman wins just because again, planning, both on planning. It's not. I don't think there's much more to it than that. But in a straight up fight, because here's the thing: we've seen Tony in the suit deliver some heavy blows. I don't think a powered punch. I don't think Bruce, unless he's in any sort of extra armor of his own, I don't think he could take a punch from the suit without some sort of protection. I mean, he'll dodge the hell out of it because that's Batman's thing. He's dodge, he's
Yeah,
dodge take. Yeah.
he's definitely more agile. And we've seen that Tony Stark goes against, in the suit, enemies that are drastically would overpower him.
Mhm,
And I think the biggest example would be Thanos.
mhm,
He was drastically faster than Thanos, and he put a hurting on him,
mhm,
but it was just for that blip. But
mhm.
yeah, Batman's gonna be a lot faster, and if he understands the technology, he could short it out.
He'll find a way.
Um,
He'll find a way
E
if he knows his game.
EMP easily, you'd short the whole suit out. Even
Unless
if
it's EMP
even
shielded. It
if
might be EMP shielded. I mean,
I mean, definitely possibly, but
yeah.
how many EMP blasts can you take? I mean, we're really getting to the weeds on this one. So,
Which we have to. That's the point. I mean,
that's what
we
nerds do.
exactly. So I
Yeah,
mean,
you would
yeah.
have Batman would hack into Stark Enterprises, get a blueprint of the suit, find its weakness, like you said, EMP it or find some way to put it out of commission for just a couple seconds, long enough for him to put something on some part of it that's gonna put it out of commission completely, and Batman wins. It's something like that. You just
And
know that's how it would work.
I mean, and if it's just Tony without some sort of MCU version of an AI partner, because remember, at the end of if we're going MCU, just as a physical example here, when uh when uh when Steve and Tony are fighting at the end of Civil War, Steve is owning him because he's a better martial artist. He's a better physical fighter, and it required Friday or no Jarvis was Jarvis no Friday Jarvis wasn't there anymore. Friday had to calculate Steve's fight pattern and then plug it into the suit's onboard computer for
Hmm.
Tony to block it. Tony needs assistance on something because Tony, as smart as he is, he doesn't have all that training that somebody like Cap or Bruce. I mean, Batman would have even way more training than Captain America when it comes to martial arts. I mean,
Oh yeah, no, absolutely.
yeah,
But Cap would still have the strength and the speed, but no, Bruce would
yeah,
have drastically more training.
yeah.
So,
So even in that case, if it's a straight up fight like that, Bruce is more he's more of a threat in that kind of situation. But if it's a drop down fight, Tony wins. Planning, I still say Batman wins. And as far as I'll give you this one too. Where is it? Where is it? I just lost the chat moving on me. Who's the better character? Bruce or Tony? I still say Bruce because Bruce is a way more damage than Tony Stark is. Because even though the line is "I am Iron Man," he's still Tony Stark. He can put aside the suit and still be Tony Stark. Bruce Wayne is the mask. Bruce Wayne is the hollow ghost entity. There is only Batman.
Well, not just that, it's Tony is a lot of him being Iron Man isn't I know that the overall arching thing is that he's trying to make up for all the weapons he created that killed people, and
Mhm.
he, trying to redeem himself from that. But also a lot of it's his arrogance. He does it because he's this, I can be this force of good. Arrogant about it. Batman does it because he's it's not him as much as it's him trying to stop the thing. It's not arrogance, I guess I would say. It comes
Mhm.
from a different place, that the reason he does what he does. Um, I think, yeah, I
It's
think there's a deeper character to it with
there is
Batman than you
more.
have with Iron Man,
There is.
but
C
very similar in there.
Similar, but I think that too. And all right, Ariel puts up the point. If Batman gets prep time, so does Tony. I think it's a different prep time. I think
Yeah.
Tony Tony's prep time is to make gadgets and to make his armor the best he can. He doesn't think up plans on the spot. Tony's not a strategist. Tony's a man of action in the moment.
Yeah.
Batman's a strategist. He's the
Eh,
thinker.
yeah, there's two different ways of thinking. He gets more time to plan. Yeah, that just means he would try to put an extra gun on his armor, or
Hmm.
extra explosives or something. He'd be thinking of a way to take Batman out. Physically, like with weapons. Batman would be thinking of strategies, ways
Mhm.
to take him out that he's not thinking of. Batman's thinking chess, Tony's thinking checkers, kind of in a
Mhm.
way. It's two
And
different ways.
it's just they're two different characters with how they do stuff. It's just what they are. Tony usually relies on somebody else to have a plan in a situation. It's just that's at least that's my understanding of his character. I mean, I haven't just seen the MCU. I've seen other Iron Man content before that, but it's just they're over and over again. People always say, "What's Batman's greatest weapon? His brain."
Yeah, I would
And
agree with that. And definitely with Tony Stark too. And especially with the MCU, he's always planning. He's not strategizing, but he's planning for the bigger threat, which
mhm,
means if they're going to be bigger, I have to go bigger.
mhm,
I have to be more hardened. I have to, and that's where you literally get the the fight with Thanos. Now, of course, the nano suit was kind of on his last legs by the time he fought Thanos, but that's kind of the whole idea behind it, is that he went bigger, harder, more powerful. It wasn't necessarily strategized. It was just planning for the worst, but
mhm.
not knowing what the worst may be.
That's a good way to put it. That's a good way to put it. Basically, you bring the bigger gun, you bring the bigger sword, you bring the bigger
Yep.
this, bigger that, and you essentially brute force it. You
Yep.
brute force it.
You'd also have to consider the way they go about fighting and how they think.
Mhm,
Tony Stark, uh Batman is knows how to take down something much more bigger than him. Tony is usually trying to hit higher and not thinking about somebody who he considers below him because he doesn't really have any powers or anything.
mhm,
With Batman, he's used to fighting street level crime
Yep.
and street level thugs and stuff. So but he knows how to handle the big threats too. He's taken out Superman. I mean, he knows how to deal with these massive powers.
mhm, mhm.
So I think that with Tony, he's probably going to have a harder time struggling with somebody who he doesn't see on the same level as him.
And you bring up a good point, Devil.
I think.
Tony has kind of a straightforward line of thought. Great line from the first Avengers movie, just in his example of Tony Stark. Caps when Thor takes Loki and him and Steve are deciding what to do. Steve says, "Wait a minute, we need a plan." He looks back and says, "I have a plan. Attack."
Yep.
Tony just
Yeah.
attacks. It's not and it's not this. I mean, later on in the movie he says, "Okay, Cap, what's the plan?" Somebody else is going to have the strategy, the plan. Tony's the guy that supplies you with your ability to get the plan done. But Tony's not necessarily the guy who's going to come up with a plan. That's why I'm going to say it again. In a drop them down immediate fight, Tony wins because Batman, if he doesn't have the right loadout, he's not going to be able to counter this power of an Iron Man suit. He's not. But with time and planning, I think Batman wins. I mean, we're talking about the guy who has an emergency plan to take out every member of the S level Justice League.
Mhm.
He has a contingency plan to take out everybody. everybody. He's a man who can look at Darkseid in the eyes and say, give me everything you got. I don't care.
Yeah. And if they're in the same world, if the assumption is that they're in the same world in this scenario, he probably would already have a plan to take out Iron Man in case Iron Man went bad.
Exactly. Thanks for watching, everyone. If you enjoyed the video, hit that like button, subscribe to the channel, check out my gaming channel at Renaissance Nerd Arcade, and follow me on X Twitter under @TheRedNerd. Thanks again for watching. Take it easy.